Hello and welcome to AF Anime. I am John, and today I'm going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts, or more specifically, Disney Plus, the streaming service, and their capability to adapt a Kingdom Hearts anime. Now, even though Kingdom Hearts is a series that's near and dear to me, I would have to say that myself included, not a whole lot of Kingdom Hearts fans have ever really made a push for an actual anime adaptation. I'm sure it's popped up a lot in conversations or Reddits here and there. It could be totally different for the Japan fan base, but in terms of specifics or Kickstarters or anything like that, to my knowledge, Kingdom Hearts anime has not really been a thing. However, after seeing the Star Wars anthology that Disney Plus recently released, I was genuinely impressed with what Japan and the anime studios who cooperated with Disney Plus had to offer in terms of the Star Wars universe, even though it wasn't canon. So after my positive reception and what I assume is a generally good reception from both Star Wars and anime fans alike, I gotta say that I immediately thought of Kingdom Hearts and how Disney Plus can dip their toes in the concept of anime and use Kingdom Hearts to do it. So in this video, I will make a case as to how this could work out or how this could be possible within the context of keeping Disney, Square Enix, and the Kingdom Hearts fan base happy as a whole. Alright, now before I get into my ideas and my speculations, I'd like to go ahead and congratulate Nintendo, Square Enix, and whatever parties and groups are involved in the approval of having Sora put into the Smash Bros. Ultimate video game, especially as their last character. I can say personally that since Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Sora is a character that I've actually been wanting and expecting to some extent for the 3 games that have come out since. And if I'm not mistaken, we have less than a week before Sora is officially released as DLC for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game. And I'm sure as most people who are listening to this and who also own Smash Bros., I think that we are all very excited to give this character a try on our own in what I believe is less than a week now. Now, as much as I love Kingdom Hearts, this is not a gaming video, so we're going to get back to the topic at hand, and that is going to be my reasons and speculations as to why Disney Plus should give some thoughtful consideration to creating a Kingdom Hearts anime. Now, in terms of reasons and incentives for Disney Plus to give this some consideration, the first of which is going to be the fact that they can come up with their own original content. Now, I don't doubt that Disney Plus could maybe sign a contract with one of the production studios that they've worked with previously. However, unless it's Star Wars in particular, I get the feeling that Disney Plus would have to be working with them in terms of creating a storyline or even cherry picking a new manga to adapt into an animated feature. And so when it comes to Kingdom Hearts in particular, this means that Disney Plus can create original content that no other manga or anime distributor has first dibs or first rights to. Now, I know that Square Enix or Square Enix, however you enunciate it, isn't necessarily an anime distributor. However, I feel like with Square Enix being a middleman between Disney Plus and a potential anime production studio, we could actually get this thing off the ground and automatically have a fan base and an international market to appease by coming out with a series that's so beloved by many Kingdom Hearts fans around the world. Now, obviously, as many past projects will probably inform you, it is fair to say that there hasn't been a whole lot of success in terms of translating video games or video game properties into cartoons, anime, TV shows, or even movies. However, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts and the non-Disney characters with the exception of Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, it should be entirely possible to write a well-coordinated show between the Keyblade wielders of multiple generations or even focusing in on certain generations. So with that being said, I'd say the story potential is very high for a project of this nature. And heck, even if they didn't want to focus in on all the Keyblade wielders, even in one generation, following the story of a character from at least kind of a first-person perspective, you could get an entire season out of following Riku, Sora, or Xehanort for that matter. I mean, obviously, as a fan of Kingdom Hearts, I would love for any anime series that Disney Plus decides to get involved in to be canon. However, I would still say that similar to the Star Wars anthology, a non-canon anthology would probably be pretty entertaining as well. Plus, if you think about it, it also poses some very unique possibilities in terms of artwork. I mean, if the Disney realms are visited as they are in the games, then that could provide the animation studios to present the characters, the main characters or the Keyblade wielders, in different art styles depending on which world it goes to, some being 2D and some possibly even being 3D. Now, I'm fairly certain that that might be a good amount of work for any company involved when it comes to switching up the character designs depending on which world is being visited. However, I do believe it is possible they could accomplish this task. They could also just take the route of following the Keyblade characters and their interactions with each other without so much as delving into a specific Disney world. In any case, that's all just kind of wishful thinking on my behalf on how they could accomplish it and the reasons why they could accomplish it and the uniqueness of the original approach from Disney Plus as a streaming service who is just getting into anime. Alright, so now I will get into a few ideas that they could use to run off of in terms of storyline and how to approach a Kingdom Hearts anime. And the first of which is going to be the events of Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, and the main in-between games in regards to Sora and his adventure. Now, in terms of potential storylines, this one would be the most obvious and the easiest to go to. The only thing I don't like about the concept of following the main storylines is one that for the original Kingdom Hearts fans, we've already seen that adventure, we know it very well. Plus, it's not just the main three titles we're looking at here. There are multiple in-between games like Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance that we'd have to consider as well. So that's a lot of stuff to cover in regards to one character, and pretty much is tantamount to 20 years of material to cover in a series. And that's just a lot, or at the very least, a good 7 to 10 seasons if they wanted to approach such an idea. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely like this idea and I would watch it hands down if it was a continued series, but I think the next two suggestions I'm going to offer up for potential stories for a Kingdom Hearts anime would actually even be better than the previous mentioned. And my next idea for how Disney Plus could approach a Kingdom Hearts series in anime form would be to follow the story of Union Cross. While I am familiar with most of the important story elements and, plot twists and turns when it comes to Union Cross, I myself have never played the game. However, from the discussion, the video clips, and the dialogue that I've seen from Union Cross, I'd have to say that the drama and the suspense and the intrapersonal relationships of that series might actually go a bit beyond the main Kingdom Hearts series as a whole. So I think with characters like the Master of Masters, Luxu, and Xehanort being involved, the story could lend itself to a bit of suspense, but with the other foretellers and other central characters of Union Cross, it's entirely possible to rope people in with the drama mixed with a little bit of action, and then it could be appealing to some people who haven't even played the video game series. Not to mention that it leaves the universe incredibly expandable since this is the starting point of the known Kingdom Hearts storyline. Anyways, that storyline suggestion is just basically a anime version of Union Cross to kind of help fill in the gaps for those people who didn't really want to play the series like myself, and also people who might want to start the world building of a series they're unfamiliar with from the very beginning. Now, the next plot approach that I think is actually doable and achievable for Disney Plus would be to follow the story of the characters from Birth by Sleep. And Birth by Sleep being kind of the middle era, Union Cross and Sora's adventure, I do think that starting here could set up ample excitement for both the Union prequel and the Sora continuation of the story. Not to mention the characters of Aqua, Ventus, and Terra mixed with the storyline of the Mark of Mastery, the obvious feels of evil coming from Xehanort, and the benevolence of Eraqus. It just makes me feel like there's a lot of narrative potential there for character growth, character exploration, and not just that, but also action and a little bit of mystery as well. Plus, I feel like Birth by Sleep did the best job of conveying what a Keyblade wielder is and what their responsibilities are supposed to be. while also showing us the importance of the balance or the understanding of how light and dark affect one another. Now, personally, I think that would probably be the best and most broad approach that Disney Plus could take to both please the fans of Kingdom Hearts and also possibly even pull in some new eyes with the broad range of characters, their unique motives, their unique intentions, and their unique personalities. Moving on now, my final suggestion that I have for a Kingdom Hearts anime, I think the fan base of Kingdom Hearts probably wouldn't like, but that's going to be to accept the success of the Star Wars anthology and to mimic that in a Kingdom Hearts form. Now, this one may not have the same kind of broad appeal as the Star Wars anthology, since I would argue there's probably more Star Wars fans out in the world than Kingdom Hearts fans. But on the upshot, I'd probably wager that in terms of fan bases who also cross into anime, Kingdom Hearts is probably going to take the cake in comparison to Star Wars. Plus, with an anthology, they would obviously have a better option of dabbling in canon material, non-canon material, or even a combination of both. And one of the main reasons why I think an anthology could work in an impressive manner to the people who have already been fans of Kingdom Hearts is that even though there's a lot of beauty to be seen in the 3D animations from the cutscenes of the games, I'd also have to say that that technology, that computing power limits the amount of creativity they can have with the fights between these Keyblade wielders. Now, having a fight with Keyblades doesn't necessarily seem that difficult in terms of choreography, whether it be, live action, a video game render, or even in 2D. However, with the 2D anime version, I think that they could really get into choreographing amazing looking fights, or at the very least to take the fights that we know have already occurred and turn them into something a little more elaborate and also epic at the same time. So I'd have to be honest in saying that the anthology idea is probably my least favorite of the group, but I can see how that could be something different or similar to the Star Wars story where they use multiple studios and multiple animation styles. It could actually be unique in its own right. And now my final suggestion for a potential Kingdom Hearts storyline, it would be to continue the story with a kind of passing of the torch. I mean, as much as I love Sora, his character quirks, his personality, and his placement within the Kingdom Hearts universe, I would have to imagine that his story would need to come to an end before the need for Keyblades would. And in this way, they would be able to bring back as many of the original voice actors as possible, as I'm fairly certain that most of the Kingdom Hearts franchise fans are wanting to see the original cast members return. However, I'd have to say that having the original voice actors return, such as Haley Joel Osment and David Gallagher, to play teenage versions of themselves again would be very stretchy. And then on top of that, I mean, I definitely wouldn't want them to go back and reuse audio from the video game and try to splice that into an anime and have that fit. So with the voice acting choices and in respect to the original voice actors, I think that this route might be the best, as to continue the storyline and have them voice act in their natural voices, have them play older versions of the characters that we know and love. In any case, this was more or less just supposed to be a video of me speaking about how Kingdom Hearts, the anime series, could be a thing with Disney Plus, and a few approaches that they could take to making it something unique that could appeal to new fans and old fans alike. I mean, seeing Disney Plus work with multiple studios like they did for the Star Wars anthology kind of gives me hope for Disney Plus and their potential to distribute or even popularize anime to a larger extent than it already is. Plus, with Kingdom Hearts coming up on its 20th anniversary, I think an announcement for an anime on Disney Plus not only would boost subscribership to Disney Plus for those Kingdom Hearts fans who don't already have it, but at the same time could serve as a perfect way to wrap up the storyline for Sora, the Darkseeker saga, and even the Master of Masters. Now, personally, I don't expect that the Kingdom Hearts franchise will end anytime soon, especially with the concept of Disney being involved and their capacity to go on for decades, if not centuries, creating new worlds, new characters, and new things for the Square Enix characters to interact with. So, Square Enix and Disney Plus, if you guys are listening in to this humble YouTuber's opinion, please make this happen, or at least give it some consideration. So, with all that being said, I am John from Adam's Fam Anime. If you guys enjoyed this content, please like, share, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you wanted to discuss Kingdom Hearts or the possibility for an anime series, or even what you think an anime series would look like or should look like, please leave that in the comment section down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video.